Welcome to the Midday Live Show. Go on, meet the crew. You know what we just came to do. No telling who be coming through.
Jazz and Fritz and Steve, who styles gotta fit the mood. It did been a while, they left the milk. I got a DJ too.
DJ who? DJ spoil milk on the ones and twos. Catch the show, watch it be on 12 and noon. Ain't nothing like them other shows. And check it for your podcast. All hard just broadcast. Go screen it live on YouTube.
Brand new, everything about them got a bag too. Had to, cause now they see the stars when they pass through. Bad news, if you ain't up on this, you can't slide through. Especially when they find dining, shining, but the time whining.
Yes. Welcome again. Episode 8, Laughter and Legacy. This week on the Midday Live Show, we're doubling down on the comedy, doubling down on the heat with two of the realest comedians in the game. We're talking about the legend himself, Mark Viera, known as the Latin Prince of Comedy, and a new rising star. Honestly, he's got the swagger of an OG, but the rising star, Anthony Fuentes, who you may have heard before, performing live at the Chicago Theater Works. They're bringing the next generation of energy, and they're shaking up the scene. So from the Bronx to Chicago, tonight at Zany's on center stage, we get raw, we get real about the work and the grind behind the punchlines. Mark Viera shares how family, culture, hustle built his voice in comedy. And Anthony, well, you know how Anthony is. He opens up about his fears, his faith, and the fire that fuels his journey. So tune in for laughs, lessons, and the behind the curtain peek of what it really takes to make people laugh in comedy. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Midday Live Show.
Yes. Let me bring in the guests.
Wonderful
intro.
That was a like, I want him, if I ever become a boxer, I want him to be the guy that brings me up.
I was looking around the room. I'm like, who's the Latin Prince?
Yeah, I was
When?
Like,
what time?
I was gonna ask if I could get an autograph. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Right? Can I get a loan?
I want a picture with that guy.
They're gonna be like, you want Bruce Buffer to bring you out? No, I want Steve Styles.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
With a Z.
Yes.
I want no damn Bruce Buffer.
And DJ Spoiled Milk.
Hey.
And it's Jazzy Fierce, aka the fiercest of them all. Hey now.
Jazzy Fierce. I know I'm just saying,
okay.
but DJs. But I just keep doing a drop for you, bro. I want when you're at the club, I want to hear that, bro. DJ Spoiled
We need
Milk.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Steve, what were you saying?
Oh, a lot of things. I be talking so much, I sometimes forget what I'm saying. But we have an amazing show ready for you guys. A couple of topics to touch on. Pause.
Don't start.
Stop touching.
Too early.
But we have an amazing comedian here. Like, let me tell you about it. He's a comedian heavyweight from the Bronx. He's got roots. He's Puerto Rican proud. Mark Viera, known for his high energy performances, vivid storytelling, and hilarious takes on family cultura and everyday life. Now, Mark has lit up the stages from Comedy Central to Amazon Prime. You may have seen him on Stand Up Revolution, Laugh Mobs, Laugh Tracks, and now he's here with us. So can we get a big round of applause for Mark Viera in the building?
Yes, we can.
Everybody?
Absolutely.
Much appreciated. Love that. Thank you.
No, thank you.
You know how I feel, Steve? I feel like, well, guys, everybody in general, like the accolades of television have fallen behind the presence of social media. It's like people aren't really celebrities or stars unless they're big on social media. Whereas I started my career before social media was big. So I really appreciate you giving me love on those things and on the work that I did social media, the hiatus of social media, you know what I mean? Like the height of it. Like I get it. I love social media, but there was a time when being on television meant something. And so I'm grateful that I was able to, bless Martin Lawrence and work with, Russell Simmons, Laugh Mob on Laugh Tracks, and being an integral part of the creation of that entire idea of that show. So those things are a big deal for me, man. So appreciate it.
You're on mute, Steve.
Gotta love that. And thank you again, Mark. We gotta give your flowers right now. We're not waiting to the end. We're gonna give them to you right now. And of course, we can't forget about the man that made this happen, Senor Anthony Fuentes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Holding it down here in studio at iHeartRadio Chicago. Now, his accolades are impressive as well, but you may know him from Chicago Theater Works. And we love Chicago Theater Works because we work with Nick, and he's a big fan and family of the show. So again, How about another round of applause for Anthony?
Absolutely.
Fuentes?
Yes.
Shout out to Nick Ramos in Chicago Theater, and
Yes.
thank you to the Midday Live Show, and thank you to the dopest female in the game,
Ooh.
Jazzer Sophias. Y'all
Thank
better
you.
put some spec on her name. And DJ Spoil Milk.
Coolie
Not to be
sucio. I'm
not
sorry.
to be confused.
That's my
with
DJ name.
DJ Almond Milk. There's only one. And my brother, of course, Steve Styles. No, thank you for having us.
Of
and
course.
I'm honored I get to be here with my mentor. Everything I owe, I told you this before when you interviewed me, I owe to this man right here. I was his biggest fan, and I'm still his biggest fan. And I'm honored I get to get mentored by such a legend.
And we love to hear that. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah. Amen.
Come
my
on.
guy.
So, Mark, let's get into it. We
Yeah.
know that you grew up in the Bronx and you were raised on some really iconic like TV comedies. And I want to know how that influenced your voice as a comedian and what made you go from watching comedy to knowing that that's what you wanted to do for a living.
It was almost one and the same, really, because I would watch a show like Three's Company at the time, which was a really big sitcom back in the 80s. But John Ritter did something with comedy and his physical body that made everybody laugh. It didn't have a race. It didn't even have to be important, the message. What was important was the funny. And John Ritter took that, physical comedy to like a new level. And I know his influences are like Lucy, Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett. I don't ever want to leave those people out because I was watching those shows as a kid.
Yeah.
Even though they were on a rerun, but I got to watch Carol Burnett like live on TV, and everybody on that show was incredibly physical. And that's really my claim to fame. I don't just want to be funny. I want to look funny. I want to present funny. I want to perform the funny. I don't just want to say what's funny. I feel like that's another dimension to comedy that I want to own. I want to own that. So when people tell me, "Oh my God, you remind me a lot of Sebastian Maniscalco," I go, "Well, we were influenced by the same people, by the same group of comedians, which didn't just want to tell you what's funny. The Bernie Macs who were physical. He didn't have to walk like the kids when he did the kids in the house. He didn't have to become them. But isn't it so much funnier when you do, when you dare to take that risk? And doesn't the audience give you the highest payback when you do that? The answer is always yes. It's always yes. Eddie was very physical, and I was highly influenced by those physical comedians. But then there was a George Carlin who wanted to drive a point. He didn't just want to like be silly or funny. He wanted to make you think. And I feel like all that energy I try to bring to like 1 hour of a show. It's like I'm trying to harness all that Jerry Lewis movies that I used to watch as a kid, all that Abbott and Costello that I used to watch as a kid, and harness it into 1 hour. Like if I can really push the envelope of all those characters and all those characteristics, then I've done my 1 hour job. And then I got to fix my face to do it again for a second show and the tomorrow show. But it doesn't matter because a friend of mine always told me, you get a clean canvas every time you get on stage, paint something beautiful. And these are the paintbrushes that I use. I use my words, my available languages, because I do speak in Spanish sometimes just to mix it up. But also the physical comedy is super important to me. And I have expressed that to Anthony for his growth. I'm like, man, if you make that more physical, it's not that it's necessary, but wouldn't it take funny to hilarious? And to be honest with you, you only get paid real money if you're hilarious. Because a lot of comedians are funny.
Right.
So how do you separate yourself? How do you dimensionally say, I could do something better with those words if I could act them out? And there's another comedian named Arnez J. And I think a lot of people don't give his flowers. But I'm like, that dude, when he gets on stage, he's willing to do anything to make you fall down in laughter. That's that's who I love. Like, that's what I love about that, about that type of comedy. And there are many different types, but that slapstick sort of comedy, I love that so much. It really is, to me, it's beautiful. When I watch an old movie that's well past from the 50s, that makes me cry laughing based on its physical quality. I'm like, that is amazing. Meaning that's a language in itself, that physical comedy. It's a language. We used to, Charlie Chaplin used to do it without words. That's how strong physical comedy is. That all you have to do is show people and they'll love it. If you can do it right, they'll love it. So I really do drag a lot of all of that into each and every show. So it's a lot of dimensions to this, that people don't see that you work on constantly to make it better. They just know that show was funny.
Right.
Like that dude, because I'm adding these elements that I know will just make it better, and it's risky. Because you can do a lot of physical comedy and people like them.
Crickets.
You did a whole lot of that.
Right. For that little app.
For this right here.
I would love to know the beginning of your journey, right? Like, what actually got you on your first stage? Was it somebody who said, "Hey, bro, you're funny. You need to do this"? Was it a drunk day? Like, I bet you won't go give 5 minutes at this open mic. Like, how did it actually start?
It's a two-part answer to that question. The first part is, I think, what drives a lot of people to chase their dreams. They hate their current situation. I say that because I want people to know, who know about me, see me on stage. I was you. I worked that dead-end job. I worked, that place that you dread going to every day, that you got to get dressed for, drop kids off for, and go to that space that you just can't stand. I had a really good paying job that I hated. That's what made me start writing, right? So writing was one thing, but there was a lady at my job that, for like as a gift, gave me a comedy workshop. It was like $125, and she was like, "Here's a gift, and at the end of this, you get to go on stage, and I'm gonna come to your show." And her, with many of my coworkers, went to first time on stage. But if she didn't buy me that course, that 5-week course, whatever it was, I don't think I would have started comedy from that point. I had wanted to do comedy. And I tried doing comedy, but comedy is harder than you think in the beginning. People think that it's like, oh, I'm funny and I'm going to show up to a comedy club and I'm going to tell somebody, yo, I'm funny, I need to get on stage. They will kick you out and slam the door behind you. It's not how it works. And so I had to find out, how does New York comedy work? And I fit myself in. But the truth is, once I got on stage that one time, it was over. 24 years ago. Once I did that one show, I was in love. I was like, this is me.
Nice.
And as hard as it's been, I'm still doing it. Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for those that know, like, that have been to a show before or follow you on social media, your family is like a huge part of
big time
your comedy, right? And it's so rooted in like your real life. So what would you say was like one moment that you knew was like too good to, and like it has to be in your routine, like you have to work it in some kind of way?
My grandmother.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was and remains, even though she's in heaven, remains my biggest influence, because she was just a dynamo, 4 foot something inches tall. But when I'm on stage, she's 10 feet tall. When the way I make her seem, she's much bigger than that. And it's because her effect on me was so big. So my pride is to give her a few minutes every show based on how big her influence, was for me. She's the best. And so all that is, remains my driving force, is how she told me one day, if you're going to do comedy, then do it. Don't do both, because you told me you're killing yourself. You have a day job and you're doing comedy. You don't sleep at night and you don't and you work all day, she was like, pick one, because everybody's suffering because nobody sees you. And it was just that one conversation that really mended to my bones. And I was like, all right, I gotta do that. I gotta figure this out. But her encouragement, her love through it all, pass or fail. She wasn't even at the shows. She just heard about it, me talking about it. And she was like, oh, you love it, then do it. Don't half-ass it, as we say, know, or back in the days, don't half step, right? Don't man, take the full step. Steve Harvey, although I don't like to quote him, he does sometimes drop a gem. And one of them is jump. Forget about the parachute. Just jump. Build a parachute on the way down. And then comedy and in entertainment, there really is no other way. You just got to jump. They say leap of faith, but that sounds cliche because so many people are in the middle. But if I could tell anybody anything, I would say at some point, you're going to look down and say, oh man, it's going to be worth it. And jump. Jump. I did it. I left a really great job with a lot of benefits. The benefits that most people, covet. You get 5 weeks vacation. You got,
no copay,
and you get sick days too. Like
you said, no copay. I'm good.
Yeah, no copay, nothing. Like I had the benefits that I'm serious. Most people covet. I left that job. I left that job to go into what is still the unknown. Man, 1 year I could make 60 grand. 1 year I could make 600 grand. It depends on the year.
Right.
Yeah.
When COVID hit, I think all of us in this room know what happened.
Yeah.
We went from dreaming to nightmare.
Facts.
Literally.
Instantly. From one news day to the next. We closing down everything. I lived in Brooklyn at the time. Do you know what Brooklyn looked like? The first week of COVID shutdown? It looked like I Am Legend, bro. The whole streets, New York City was empty. You have no idea what I've been through with comedy, through the highs and the lows, and even through COVID, I found a way. Zoom, all these different social media. I found a way to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Doing shows outdoors, in the rain, in the cold. Okay. If y'all know, you know what this sound is. Try doing comedy with that joint, like and I've done it, and here I am sort of reaping the benefits of sticking with it, man, even when it was cold and there was no dreams to dream. During COVID, we didn't see an ending. When is this going to end? We don't know.
Right.
I still continue to dream through the hard times. And like I said, I think what happened is an evolution. And I think what me and Anthony talk about is evolving and allowing that process to happen is also hard. Change is hard, but knowing that you're changing and embracing it creates something so beautiful on the other side if you just allow it to happen. And so that's where I'm at in my career. My comedy is different. What I talk about, topically, sort of the same. Family, what's happening in me, but it comes out different now. I say my show is 100 times better than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say because let me tell you, I was a bad dude 10 years ago. Like I was a bad dude 10 years ago, but it wasn't the real me.
Yeah.
That was just the me at that moment. Like now I'm getting closer to the real me. And so now the comedy comes from a better place. It's just because I'm in a better place.
Yeah. Can we clap it up for growth real quick in the room? That's what it's all about. No matter what you're into, no matter what your dream is, it really is about that growth. And you have to know you can do it.
Definitely.
It's going to get hard. Things are going to be difficult.
Yeah. Know that it's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Your journey's supposed to be hard. Whether it's the journey of love, the journey of life, the journey of growth, all of it's supposed to be hard or wouldn't be worth trekking. When you see people count Mount Everest, you ever seen those people prepare and then hire people and save money and get people to donate money for the course? You ever seen what they go through to go climb a mountain? That's life. Life's going to get that hard. It's going to knock you down. It's going to take your breath away. But whatever happens after that, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
I feel that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I ran up Mount Everest barefoot.
Did you?
With my
Is there footage?
blindfolded.
I just need to see. Is
It
there
was a
footage of
Monday.
this?
It was afternoon.
Anthony.
Afternoon.
I got to the top. Then I realized it wasn't Mount
And he
Everest.
did it on 1 Celsius.
Yeah. On what's up? I didn't spill. No, but then I realized it wasn't Mount Everest. It was the hill at the park, but it felt like Mount Everest.
Like Mount Everest.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
Okay.
it was a hill from
Yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
the corner from the house. I got it. Yeah.
I felt
That's
the
real.
same kind of wind
Yeah.
I probably feel if I
Mhm.
got to Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's the same
You heard
thing.
the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard the.
Oh,
Yeah.
I climbed the
Mhm.
hill on Mount Hope
Yeah.
in the Bronx, and I was winded.
That's
Yeah,
Mount Everest.
but I was
That's
like,
your
that was Everest for me.
That's it. That's your Everest.
That's your Everest. That's actually a good.
analogy.
Well, it's a good name of a comedy special. It's my Everest
It is.
because it has meaning to you. I don't know what you. I don't know what you've been through to get to the top of whatever it is that you're climbing. You know what I mean? Maybe that's
I like
maybe
that.
that's the
Right.
the
Let
name
me
of
get
my
my
new
notepad
special
out.
is
I'll
my
tell- When I
Everest.
tell you, I loved. So I grew up watching Mark Viera on TV, and I was always like, oh my God, I wish one day I could meet him. He's like my hero. He's my idol. So the first opportunity I got, it was given to me by a booker. Said, hey, you want to pick up Mark Viera? And I said, say less. I'm there. I wrote a
Yes.
script of what to ask him and talk to him about. I was that nervous. I read it the day before. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna meet Mark Viera. And when he sat in the car and we talked, I felt like I had been with a brother all my life. And I'm glad, I'm lucky that I've been handed him as a mentor. I think, his grandma passed, my grandma passed. I think our grandmas got together and put us together. And it's like when he talks sometimes, the gems he drops are things that stick with you forever, for a
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah, but
it's
I
no special.
I want to real quick come back to answering the first question you had. There was a joke that I did about my grandmother being the nosiest woman in my neighborhood, and and everybody knew she was nosy because she had her pillow on the window in New York City, and she knew everybody's business, and she would yell your business out from the 5th floor.
I love that.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like that influence, like when I did that joke for the first time in front of a real audience, the tears. But now I could do that same joke and say my grandmother was the first Ring camera. And now a joke that I wrote 20 some years ago is funnier 20 something years later.
Yeah.
Because now I could do that joke back then. Now I could say my grandmother was the first Ring camera, boy. She saw everything in front of the building. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
She was the Ring camera, not on the, but she was for the neighborhood Ring camera.
everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was that person that would yell, you don't belong, you don't belong, you can't cross the street, you better come back over. Like, and you was like, you're not even my mother. like my friends would be like, yo, tell your grandmother to mind her business.
I'm not gonna tell her that.
Exactly.
Let's play the clip.
Exactly. Like that. Why you in my business, old lady? She was like, Mira, get away from there. And you were like,
Who is this? Is she
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Hey, Steve,
we got-
jump in the conversation, man.
Oh man, I've been listening. You guys are doing great, but I was able to find the clip. If you got a second, don't try it. Abuelita's watching.
Yes.
My grandmother's 84 years old, still alive, still lives in the same building we lived in growing up. My grandmother still lives. My grandmother is the most gangster old woman I've ever seen in my life. You know why? Because she's 84. She is nosy. You understand what I'm saying? She knows everybody's business in that building. Everybody. You know how? She don't care no more. Because in the right now when the weather's getting nice, my grandmother puts her pillow on the window. And she is on patrol. You understand? I don't know what's keeping her in. She's all the way out. And if she sees you and she knows something about you, she will scream it out from 5 stories up. Excuse me, mira, don't park your car over there. You're gonna get a ticket. And you already got $35. You don't pay your bill, okay? I know, watching you.
I'm watching you.
Excuse me. Mira, pay your rent. Pay your rent 4 months. You don't pay.
She knew
Nobody can live for free, okay?
And I see right here.
Yeah. So
I see it.
So
The
my
physical
point
comedy
is
you were
the
talking
physical,
about. I
the
see it.
physical part of
Yeah.
that. I could have just stood there and did it.
Mhm.
It still would have been funny. The premise is funny. My grandmother is nosy is a funny premise. And I
Mhm.
could prove that she's nosy because she spends her day hanging out the window, yelling out people's. It's a great joke. But when you give people that visual,
Yes.
you
Definitely.
and then when you become them, you could say anything. You could say anything. So the fact that I do her voice, her inflection, and all of that,
Yeah.
it really is me acting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other part of that I told Anthony when I met him. I go, you're a performer. Perform.
Absolutely.
You know, we can go, you could preach or you could perform. Brother, dare yourself to be a performer. I promise you, you're going to get a lot. Look, my man just got an acting gig.
Yes,
An
Anthony.
acting gig. And he called me. He called me. He called me and he go, I don't know nothing about acting. I didn't want to tell him. I go, yeah, you perform every night. You're acting every night, Pop. Absorb that, embrace that, and grow. And grow, man. Don't ever say that's not you. Because they saw something in you didn't see in yourself, man. Go out there and act. Go out there and act,
Man,
man.
it did help.
You
It
know?
helped because I use I always listen to what he tells me. He's my mentor, you know, and there's times I'll do a joke and I'll think it's funny and he'll critique it. He'll be like, nope, you got to fix this. You got to fix. I'm like, dang it, man. Why you didn't tell me that before? I went on stage.
My golden rule, never introduce someone you're not willing to become.
Yeah.
It's my golden rule. I don't care if it's the dog. I don't care if it's a chair. If you grab the chair, become the chair. If you talk to the dog, make sure the dog talks back. Because that's comedy. Anybody can talk about their dog. Man, I had to take my dog to the vet, but it's boring. But you say, man, the dog was looking at me in the car like, where we going? Changes the dynamic of that whole interaction with the dog, right? Now the dog is like, Bob, I didn't make the appointment. Who made the appointment? All of a sudden, the dog not only got an attitude, he sounds like my brother. You know what I mean? Like his voice is hilarious, you know? So I engage with Anthony in these really deep conversations about the art of comedy, not just the laughs. It's like there's an art behind this that the people, you never want to show people everything behind the curtain. You just want them to come to a show and you've continued to develop something, a skill set. You know, like I do impressions and Anthony, I make this, we play Call of Duty together.
Oh my God.
And we're online, you know, and all I do is impressions. And the people that are online in the universe of like multiplayer, they're like, is that the real Arnold Schwarzenegger or something? You know, like, is that the real? You hear them talking? He's crying. He's crying. And I'm just goofing around with him, you know, on the game. But it just, the fun part of playing in the act house. And again, I get the line, it's a long list of great act out comedians, Jim Carrey. Like I could just name them. The second I named them, Tommy Davidson, and I say it, you're gonna be like, I know, where they will do anything. Jamie Foxx to be funny, right? Just to get you to laugh. Jamie Foxx turned a script into a flip, a song, and a blah blah. And you're like, wow, he's right.
Amazing.
I fell in love with his physical comedy, facial expressions, and all this stuff. But it's not just me. Like when people say, "Oh, you're like this guy, that guy," I'm like, no, I'm like all of them. I've loved everybody I just mentioned. I've loved through my life. Like I wish I could be Jim Carrey in my set. I wish I could be Tommy Davidson in my set. My point is, they're all influential, is what I mean. And so I have how do you know when people do the clay? Like I have a perfect clay piece that I'm helping to sculpt and mold through positive influence, right? Through positive words. And I never tell them it's a bad set. I always tell them that joint could be better. That's all. You had a great set. You know what? Too bad. Because it could have been better. Oh man, you're right. You're right. He looks down. I go, yeah, I'm teaching you a lesson.
Yeah. As
comedians, we have 10 shows a night. Do you know the amnesia you gotta have? That you got a standing ovation on the first one? You got 9 more shows to go? the people that came for the second show have no idea what happened on the first show. You better get out your headspace
Exactly.
and fix your face to do the second show like there was no first show. You know how hard that is? You know how hard you got to train? You know, it's like a sniper getting that one dude. You can't celebrate. There's a whole bunch back there trying to get you. You better, you know, reset yourself up and hit and put that, you know, the crosshairs up again, because we got a lot more work to do. There's a lot more work to do, you know? So that's, as my guy, I'm like, I know there's a language I speak to him that we sort of connect on.
Nice. I want to know, what's one of your favorite stages? Like, yo, I went crazy in Chicago or Brooklyn.
Okay, best stage, Madison Square Garden. That's my biggest best, because I'm a New Yorker. Now, maybe if I was from Boston or if I was from Chicago or somewhere else, that answer might be different. But I'm born and raised in New York City. My dream was to be a Madison Square Garden. I was able to perform with Gabriel Iglesias, with Fluffy at Madison Square Garden.
Huge.
What was that like?
It's just from the arrival that you come in through the artist entry, you know, there's a tunnel and you got 10 security people walking you in. They give you your credentials. You feel like I was Bruce Springsteen for a day, you know. I was playing the hits, you know. But I'm gonna say something very weird. My best performance that I can remember was in Houston, Texas, at the Houston Improv. I tell you that because the audience did something that has never been done again. I said goodnight. I did about a 25-minute set. They stood so long, they wouldn't leave. They just kept clapping. And the host said, "Mark, can you do another 5?" I'm backstage already. Like, I'm changing my shirt. Like, I'm ready to get in my Uber. Can you do another 5, bro? These people, they're going nuts.
I love
He's
that.
on stage. The second I show my face back on stage, the place goes bananas. They sit down. I do another 5, and I get another standing ovation.
Wow.
Damn. Wow.
Houston, Texas.
Beautiful.
Ask me if I could have dreamt that, and I will tell you no. So George Lopez says something to me. He goes, "Mark, one day you got to understand, you got to dream bigger. You've already hit all the markers. You're funny, bro. Now what? So continue moving the goalpost in your life so that when you hit those important things, you know that you can do more, that you can bring more, and you can achieve more than even you could initially dream of." I only dreamed of being funny, right? It's right. I've only dreamt of being funny. Now, you know, now I want to be spoken about when people talk about their favorite. Who's your favorite comedian? You know, and they go, "Oh man, Chappelle's, that's my guy, man." You know, Hart, you know, and then that Puerto Rican dude, Mark, I love that dude. Like, that's that. I told Anthony that to me, and I even told my woman, who doesn't understand, I don't want money. I want respect in comedy. I want my peers to know me and to know that I worked really hard to bring an exceptional product. You know, that and not only that, but we go from making people laugh to making them feel. And that becomes a humongous page changer. You know, that people left your show talking. They left talking, not just laughing, because they laugh, but they're talking. There's a conversation they're having about their relationship, maybe the relationship with themselves, their relationship with God, their relationship with their parents, you know, all that to me. Super important now. But one day it was just laugh, you know, just want to make people laugh. And then when I leave and I got this little money, I'm good, you know. I got my Jordans, like I'm a happy boy. obviously, what happens is that it grows and it changes, and like I said, the goalpost moves, and you continue to move it. I think that's super important.
And he's right though. All his peers, like, it's crazy because I've been doing this only 8 years, but I've had the opportunity of meeting some big names. And I call him sometimes because I'm like, who don't know you, bro? Because I was with Russell Peters. And he didn't even look at me. He didn't even bat an eye. And then we was in his green room. And he goes, "Where you performing next?" I go, "Well, I'm at Levy Live." And of course, I'm a name drop because it's Mark. But I like, maybe he knows. And I go, "Yeah, I'm with Mark Viera." And all of a sudden, Russell liked me now. He's, "Oh my God, Mark Viera, that's my brother. I know him." I'm like, even the acting gig, I'm doing the acting. And the director's talking to me. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to Denver. He's like, I don't know if you can miss that day, bro, because we need you for filming. I goes, because I'm opening for my brother, Mark Viera. Mark Viera? Man, I know Mark Viera for 20 plus years. Go ahead, take the day off. I'm like, what? Are you serious?
I got him a day off. Like, I'm like,
Love that.
I got you a day
Love
off
that.
for the name drop.
And
Okay,
I
you know.
call him too. I'm like, who don't know you, bro? Like everybody I've always brought his name up to, you always hear the most utmost respect. And these are coming from big names. And they're just like telling me stories for days. Man, Mark is one of the best in the game. He's one of the funniest in the game. You're lucky that you're able to get mentored by, I've been told by big names. You're lucky that you're able to get mentored by this guy. And I know I am, you know, and I'm glad that I have a brotherhood with him on top of that. Cause like he'll FaceTime me every morning and show me what he's cooking for breakfast.
I show him what I'm cooking. His health is important to me.
Yeah.
That's my friend.
Yeah.
So outside of comedy, I'm
He's
like,
that
yo,
kinda
look what
guy.
I'm making.
Yeah.
Make this tomorrow. I tell him, make this tomorrow. Buy these, make this tomorrow.
Hey,
Chicken
yeah.
sausage. You know, I tell him I'll make a couple eggs, chicken sausage. I'll make this, that, or whatever. This is what I eat. This is the portion size. Do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right,
Meanwhile-
what kind is that? What kind of, you know, it's important.
Yeah, he does. And that's why he's one of the realest. He's one of the only in my circle because I know I could talk to him. He's always looking out for my benefit. He calls me, yo, eat this. This is healthy for you while I'm eating a Hostess cupcake. I get it. Thank you for making me feel worse than I already felt about eating this cupcake.
Every time I call him, he's like, eat what? As he's drinking a soda or something. And I'm like, hold on. First off, put that down. Put that down. Yeah.
I'll be muted when I'm at the McDonald's drive-thru. Hold on, I got another call.
Hold on.
2 Big Macs, please.
Too many times that's happened where you're like, hold on, let me call you right back. I'm like, are you at Taco Bell? He's like,
no, I'm not. They're like, here's your change, sir. And your 2 tacos.
Have a Taco Bell
thank you
day.
for coming to Taco Bell.
Right.
I'm like, you're a liar. You are a liar, bro.
Thank you for choosing Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Captain Nom 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 over here.
That's crazy. Steve, you want to jump in there, man?
Always, my man, always too. Like, don't forget, like, you know, this is Mark Viera. So we got to make sure he says his piece. And Anthony, man, you're on fire with the comments, man. We appreciate that. But my question is quick, Mark. A lot of your comedy comes from real life, familia, cultura, struggle, and success. Was there ever a moment in your journey where laughter genuinely saved you from something darker?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that I lost my son, Mark Jr., in a motorcycle accident at 26 years old.
Wow.
So that was the time in my life where a lot of decisions needed to be made. You know, do I continue doing comedy? Can I continue to do comedy? Can I continue living without my son? These are questions that I never asked myself ever until this happened, until this day. And to be honest with you, even I don't want to take too much time and get too deep, but it was the fact that my son, right before his accident, was at my show at Caroline's on Broadway in New York City, one of the biggest comedy clubs in New York City, right? I was there headlining the whole weekend, and my son, Mark, brought all his friends and had the time of his life. It was that moment that I was like, if I stopped doing comedy, how much disgrace that would be. What a tragedy on top of a tragedy would it be if I stopped being funny because of this?
Mhm.
I should find a way to keep going in his honor. The fact that he was my biggest fan is what really turned for me everything from tears to growth. You know, from just cry, because I still cry every day, every single day. And for those of you who are listening to this, you know, or hear this, if you're going through something similar, you know that we are those who are grief stricken are in a very special kind of family. And we have a right to allow that grief to happen and to try to grow from it. It's not an easy task, though. This is the hardest thing I've ever been through, but it is honestly, it's making my comedy really better. You know what I mean? Because every day I have to deal with melancholy. I have to deal with a sadness that is like a shadow. And then I have to go perform, or I have to go write, or I have to do an interview, whatever it is. I have to fix my face to say, I love you, Mark, today, tomorrow, and let's go do this. And instead of feeling like he's not with me, I try to include him. He's here with me. He's here inspiring me. Even though I was his dad, he still inspired me. So I'm here today through his inspiration because, man, I got lost, man. 30 days, I didn't touch a microphone because I couldn't, bro. I just couldn't. And for those of you who know my pain, know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not about depression. It's about real loss. People want to, they want to put you in a box, or label you. Well, you were dealing with, and if you have never lost a child, you have no idea there is no clinical answer to losing your baby, man. There is no book that's going to tell you how to deal with somebody or this kind of loss. Most people that have to deal with this, man, I take my hat off. I take my hat off. If you come out better from something like this, you deserve a gigantic salute, because I've been there, man. I've been there in the shower not wanting to get out. I've been in there for 2 hours, bro. And I've not wanted to come out that shower because I'm just grief stricken. And that feeling is you can't plan for those, that kind of hardship. You can't plan for it. You can't say, no. I lost my dog Petey when I was 6, so I think I could go through anything. It's like, nah, it ain't this, bro. It ain't this. Right. I promise you. Remember my parakeet died. You like, yeah, but it ain't the same. There isn't a training school. There isn't a special medication that they can give you that's going to help you deal with this. I tell people, even my woman, who I love very much, I respect her enough to tell her that I love her even though a part of me is missing, and there's so special parts too. And the fact that she allows me to love her even with those missing parts, she still loves me back with those missing parts, is incredibly deep. It's incredibly deep because, man, a big part of me is grieving. It's grieving,
Appreciate the transparency again, Mark. Thank you again for sharing something so personal.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. But we want to switch gears a little bit. We have a great game here on the Midday Live Show where it's called Rapid Fire. Where we hit you with all these questions, and these questions have only one rule, Mark. You say the first thing that comes to your head. And remember, this is a safe place. Wink, wink. It's a safe place.
Somehow I think this is going to be easy for him. I think it's going to be fine.
Right. We're not going to clip up the video and put it on YouTube. Maybe not, but we're not. This is a safe place, brother. But I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to kick it off with 5 questions, and I'm going to send it right over to Jazz or Fierce. All right, Mark?
You got it.
Listo. Here we go. Numero uno. Who you texting the most, Mark?
My woman.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yes.
How about this? What is the worst piece of advice you ever got?
Quit.
I felt that one. I've been told that many times.
Quit. Go back to work. People think that we're not working. They think entertainers are not working. They don't understand what drives us, what motivates us, and what pushes us to wake up earlier than everybody or go to bed later than everybody.
Yeah.
As we contemplate the conversations, we contemplate the material, we contemplate the trajectory, how to change that trajectory, how to just make one small move that changes everything,
You know what?
Real.
Preach.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's real.
Exactly. Yep.
And
We working.
Say that again for those in the back that didn't hear it.
We
We
working.
working.
Real.
This comedy is
Entertainment business.
Yeah, this ain't
Exactly.
This ain't for the faint of heart. I'll tell you
Right.
that much.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Next
Before
question.
DJ Spoil Milk start, he was DJ Milk. That's
Right.
how
Yeah,
hard
imagine
it
that.
really worked. You understand?
DJ
Yeah.
Leche in the Spanish clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took multiple days being left out of the refrigerator to get here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
To get me this way.
Come
Right.
on now.
Right. Put some respect on it, y'all. Yeah.
Put some respect on the fridge.
Yeah.
Next question. What's one food or one dish you cannot live without?
Benin. I didn't even want you to finish the question. I didn't even want you to finish the question. I was like, bro, and I'm talking to somebody who doesn't eat pork. And I told you, you're gonna have to change that for me, bro. Please.
I will.
Some pernil de lechon. Look. As we crank it and it cooks and it sautés and it marinates. Dale, brother. From Chile, don't eat pork.
Right?
Bro, that's like an Eskimo that hates ice, bro. You are an anomaly, papo. Like,
Tú sabes, bro. Tú sabes. We're gonna make that happen. I'll make an exception for you, Mark. I definitely will. All right.
Oh man.
I got two more questions, Mark. Then I'm gonna pass it over to Jazz. All right.
all right.
What is the stupidest dare you ever agreed to?
Stupidest dare I ever agreed to? I swam with sharks.
What
Wow.
the?
Mm-mm.
Like free swim, snorkel with sharks. My woman was like, we're gonna go see sharks, right? We're gonna go see sharks.
See.
And everybody's jumping in the water. And the captain comes over and goes, you sure you don't want to go in? He's like, it's gonna be fine, I promise. And I go, how can you promise that a loose shark ain't gonna bite me? I swear this is what he said. I understand them. That's what he said.
What?
I understand them. I understand their temperament. And then today, they're doing very good. They're very good sharks today. That's what he said. And I
Not
put
me.
on snorkel gear, and me and my woman jumped in the water. True
That's
story.
all you needed. Oh
True
my
story.
gosh.
He
my
convinced
gosh.
me
I
that
would have been like,
that he was like Cesar Milan, the shark whisperer. I was like, he convinced. You ever watch that show and be like, yo, he's talking to that dachshund right now.
Yeah.
Like
That's
they got a
crazy.
connection. Yeah.
We were like, great whites are okay.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, great whites. I
That's
think
crazy.
they seemed calm.
I would have been like, you know what? I watch when animals attack. No, I'm good. I'm not trying to be on the next
No,
episode.
you know what show? I Was Prey. You ever watch that show? You
Oh
watch that
my
show and
gosh.
you're like this. I'm not even leaving my house. I'm good. People get attacked by the strangest things. Like
Final
like a
Destination.
butterfly bit this
Hello?
lady's face.
Mhm.
You like a butterfly?
A
bit you?
butterfly?
I didn't even know they had
Stop it.
teeth. What? Yeah.
You wild, Mark. You
Absolutely
wild.
not.
Final question for me. Then I'm gonna pass it to Jazz. All right. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Prince, When Doves
When Doves
Cry.
Cry. Oh, I knew you were about to
Amazing.
say that.
Right. Woo.
Amazing choice. Amazing.
I knew you were about to say that.
You know what? That song puts me in a mental space.
Yes.
And did that opening.
Mhm.
That right? This is what it sounds like when
Yes.
doves cry. That whole feeling. I'm watching the movie when I was a kid. I'm watching
Mhm.
Purple Rain. I'm watching the movie with Apollonia and her boobies are out,
First
and I'm
wife.
a kid, and I'm like,
Yep, she was my first wife.
And
She
I-
was-
Oh,
people don't know I married
Period.
Apollonia in my mind.
that's
I think we all had that. You know, when we were younger, we
two
married
kids.
someone in our head.
Anthony got
Yeah.
Anthony became Tracy Morgan right there. I got Apollonia pregnant. I don't even
I was
care.
in my room the entire summer that I watched Purple Rain. My dad said, "Come out." I said, "No, I'm with my wife."
I'm with my
I'm
wife.
I'm married.
I'm on a date.
You're
Quality
8
time.
years old. I am married to
But
Apollonia.
one time we serenaded. He took me to my first Waffle House in
Mhm.
what was it? Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, Toledo.
Took to my first Waffle House. We were there at 11:30 at night singing
Oh,
Careless Whispers.
Whispers.
Yeah,
What is a
at
whipper?
the top of our lungs. Man, I can't even speak. I'm having it's the Celsius. I'm like that.
It's giving
He
him
told you don't
Alzheimer's
do it.
already.
He said don't do
Celsius
it.
is already giving him Alzheimer's. He's 40 years old.
Yo, we sang Careless Whispers at the top of our lungs.
No, let's sing it your way. Careless whippers. Who's careless whippers?
Was that a lighter?
Who's careless whippers? You know what I mean? Even the people at the Waffle House. They was like, yo, I never heard that version.
That's a new one. That's a
Careless
Diddy remix.
whippers?
Uh-oh.
That's
I
the
said no
Diddy
Diddy.
mix.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
boy.
Nice try. Nice
Touchy
try.
said, too soon?
Oh,
Too soon? Damn. Oh, really?
Oh man.
Okay, let me take over rapid fire.
Yes.
Describe your comedy style in one word, Mark.
Funny.
Period. If you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would that be?
Popeye.
Oh,
Spinach.
okay. Yeah.
This dude.
Yeah.
From four
Guns.
with the guns, spinach.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Other than yourself and other comedians, what's something that never fails to make you laugh?
Comedy movies. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll take that. All right. Best compliment you've ever gotten?
You're my favorite comedian.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Okay, and the last one for me, I'll pass it to DJ Spoiled Milk.
Left out the refrigerator.
When they make a movie about your life, name the actor you will want to play you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Anthony.
He's like, I'm right here, bro. I'm just saying, I'm right here. Right here.
Wow, I've never even thought about that one. So let me just I'll do a rapid fire answer. John Leguizamo.
Oh,
Okay.
snap.
Yeah. I mean, he's older than I, but
Yeah.
you know, with makeup and stuff, you know,
They can do
just gotta
anything.
cut his hair.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look like you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
He's
just
like
saying,
5'3", you
We're
know.
already halfway
Yeah.
there. You picked
You,
him over.
you know what I wanted to say? Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
If
you know?
asked
Oh
me,
my
I would have been
gosh.
like Fat Joe.
Fat Joe. What actor? Fat Joe.
Fat Joe.
It's not even an actor.
I would like Fat Joe to play me.
It's not even an actor. He just named anyone. You know what I mean?
Just Fat Joe. Boom.
Just Fat Joe. Yeah.
Boom.
Let's see what's New York pizzas. We're not from New York,
Okay.
but let's say we go to New York. We travel to New York. What pizza spot are you sending us to right away?
Patsy's, 118th and First Avenue.
Wise choice.
Yeah.
Now,
it's
now
like that.
I'm not saying there's these new pizzerias. There's John on Bleecker,
Yeah, but they're not
but
Patsy's.
they're not Patsy's to me. And there's some new pizzerias that I have not had that I don't want to say because I haven't had them. But for me, my go-to when I'm in New York is Patsy's. And there's a bunch, but the one on 118th and First is the original.
Mhm.
And that one, they're still murdering that. Like, it takes minutes and it comes out lava hot.
Yeah.
Can't even touch it.
Love that.
So what are your thoughts on deep dish pizza?
It takes too long.
Fact. That is a fact.
That's it.
Mhm.
Now,
That's a
do I
fact.
love it? Anything with mozzarella cheese and sauce, you got my
Yes.
vote.
Yes.
But when you're sitting there an hour and change waiting for a pizza, you get antsy because you're done with salad. You don't
Yeah,
want to eat too much
facts.
bread,
Right.
and now you're just angry. By the time you get it, you want to go home.
Yeah.
Like you have one, and you're like, I'm gonna get out of here. We've been in this restaurant for 2 hours. Like
yeah.
You're like, I got
this
here,
is
it was daytime.
this is way
It's
too
night.
long for a restaurant. Hotel room 2 hours is
I
okay,
got
but
here
you know,
Monday, it's Tuesday.
right. I'm having pizza for breakfast now.
Yeah.
Jesus, how did this happen?
If you could time travel, what era would you travel to?
Probably in the 80s.
The 80s?
Probably in the 80s.
Cocaine.
Just
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Why was
I
that
mean,
the first thing?
Cocaine.
I'm just curious. I mean,
Milli Vanilli.
They didn't think
Could've
about
said the
Mountain Dew,
music.
nothing. Remember when they made Mountain Dew in the 80s? You know, I'll tell you why. The prices of things were better. I think the quality of things were better. And as a comedian at heart, comedians were so respected in the 80s that every single comedian that was working in the 80s had a TV show or was on a TV show. Every
Yeah,
single
TV
one.
show.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That dude,
Yeah.
Bronson Pinchot from Beverly Hills Cop, the first one that was at the art gallery. They found him at the Comedy Store. They found Damon Wayans at the Comedy Store. He's in the
Wow.
movie Beverly Hills Cop. He plays the bald-headed
Valet.
that gives him the bananas to put into the
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
exhaust. That's Damon Wayans. So we're talking about comedians that were picking out of comedy clubs, putting them in movies, putting them on TV. So back to it.
80s.
The 80s, no, there was a comedian, Billy Crystal, out of the
Yeah.
comedy club and onto a TV show called Soap. Robin Williams, who was doing anything at that time to make $1, was picked out of a comedy club to do Mork and Mindy. You know,
Mork and Mindy, yeah.
I'm just talking about every comedian that was, what's his name? Freddie Prince,
Chico
Oh, wow.
picked out of a comedy club, went on Johnny Carson, if you watch that set now, you won't laugh. Got that one appearance on Johnny Carson. He was on a TV show that he was the star of called Chico and the Man.
Looking good.
Okay. It's like now you got social media influencers getting more money at comedy clubs as a deal than the comedians that built the comedy clubs with their funny. So the earthquakes, Chappelle's, Fluffy's, that have been
Yeah.
doing comedy for 30 plus years. The JB Smooths built those clubs on their laughs. Now you got somebody who does 3 funny videos on Instagram, and they're headlining that same club, getting a great deal because people want to pay to see the person that makes those videos. They don't even care that the person is funny.
Right.
They're not even buying into the comedy. They're buying in that you're gonna do a dumb video, something dumb that you do in your video to make them laugh there. So I call that the Jackass effect. That's what Jackass did, is they made the normal people SARS. And I say that I don't want to because I sound like a hater, but I call it the talentless suddenly have something to say.
Ooh.
Talentless gave, what was his name?
Steve-O?
No. The Jackass guys are one, right? These guys, come on.
Yeah.
Steve-O,
Yeah.
headlining comedy clubs,
But he does.
puts a firecracker in his
Yeah.
butt, and that's comedy.
Yep.
Come on,
Steve-O.
guys. I'm talking to adults in the room, right?
Right.
But then you had they also did it. Sharon,
Osborne.
Ozzy Osbourne, right? It's like that effect that people want to see. They think, just because you're a family, you're a celebrity. That's not. What is celebrity about? I'm with that my dad is Ozzy Osbourne. That doesn't make you a celebrity. You're the kid of a dude that ate a bat on stage. That doesn't make you a celebrity. You're talentless, But his wife is hosting the View, the show, the talk, the this and that. Girl, you have no right to be there.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You have no right to be there, but this is the sort of world we live in where, the people who have talent are sort of now in the back seat of the car instead of in the front seat, which I don't have hate for. But the reason my answer is the 80s is that, comedians had high value. I mean, Roseanne Barr had a show called Roseanne based on her stand-up comedy of being a domestic goddess. I mean, she said that one line on Rodney Dangerfield's special on HBO. I'm not a housewife. I'm a domestic goddess. Fran Drescher, a comedian from the Comedy Store. Caroline Ray, a comedian from the Comedy Store. TV shows. Look at the 80s and look who was on TV. Ellen DeGeneres. She did it in the 90s. But when was she hot as a comedian? In the 80s.
That's
Johnny
real.
Carson. This is during Johnny Carson. This is before Jay Leno. Leno's later. Leno's in the 90s. Yeah. So I'm just saying that 80s is really the golden era of comedy. It's really the golden era. All that show, the Golden Girls.
Oh yeah.
These were people working comedy. B. Arthur was a comedian working at comedy clubs. Shirley from What's Happening, a regular comedian at comedy club. Her pictures on all the comedy clubs. She was a working comedian. Picked her out. She wasn't the lead. She's making money, man. She's making 10 grand a week. At that time in the 80s, can't get mad at that.
Exactly.
On the hit show of the time, What's Happening? That's my show, man. And every show from that point was filled with comedians in the 80s, man. Every show. And I hate to bring it up, but like the Bill Cosby show, like you're talking about these comedians that were household names because that's how Hollywood treated comedians. They coveted and loved comedians. Now Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel is suddenly like, he's everywhere.
Everywhere.
In the 80s, he was on a show that wasn't a comedy show. It was called St. Elsewhere. He played a doctor and a goofy doctor on St. Elsewhere. Doesn't matter. See, what I'm saying is that thing where these producers were like, we need talent. Let's go to the Comedy Store on Monday night, see who's there. Let's go Tuesday night again. Let's go Thursday night. And, and they were just handpicking. We like that guy. Bring him in. Let him read for this part. And ask me when was the last time I read for a part. Ask me. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. But I promise you, these social media people, because we want to put somebody already who has a following on my show, because that's going to help my show get viewers. You know?
I got to agree with that because the show that I got cast for, Barry Brewer Jr., shout out to Barry Brewer Jr., who's the director.
Yeah.
He had a phenomenal idea, book comics to do this TV show. It's a hit. It's going to be a hit TV comedy series called Dialed In. And Mark helped me be calm. And when I got to the studios, Barry added to it. He said, I want you to be a comedian. Don't read the lines. Make the lines yours, like if you're on stage. And he told every comic that. And when I tell you that this was like, even the crew, the light, they were cracking up after every scene because we're all comics working together, having fun. We, like he said, you put a comedian in his environment and he's gonna improvise the heck out of it because he does it for a living. Yeah.
Shout out to Barry Brewer, man. He was on our show last year.
That's my dude.
Yeah.
Barry Brewer is
that's my dude.
I love him.
Yep.
Definitely a
I
good
love
guy.
him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And as
Shout
soon
out
as
to
I
him.
brought up Mark, he, like I said, he gave me a day off. He was like, Mark. And it's funny
You
because
need anything else? Where you going?
That's my dude.
Man.
Take the day off.
I called Mark. I said, look who I'm with. And he took the phone from me and they went and walked away.
He did. We was on FaceTime talking about some shows we're gonna do.
For 40 minutes, I'm just sitting there with no phone, no nothing. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the show, man. You guys are performing tonight at Zany's.
Yes.
Zany's and Rosemont.
Zany's and Rosemont.
What's the show? What's the vibe? What's going on?
It is the funniest show in Chicago for sure this weekend, but I would even venture to say in 2025. Man. There'll be no holds barred laughs from the very beginning to the very end. It starts with Anthony, it ends with me. And the combination of funny, I think, is breathtaking. It's fun. Not only that, is we bring a certain sort of love and light to the show. We love what we do and it comes off. And I think the audience winds up even loving comedy a little bit more because they got to see two comedians do comedy. And like I said, I put this show up against any other show this weekend as far as pound for pound funny. And so I don't care who it is, but me and this dude are going to handle the stage. We're going to handle ourselves and handle the audience with class, with hilariousness. And before the show, I'll tell Anthony, have fun and push the limit. Always push the limit.
Yeah.
I don't tell the comedian before me, don't be funny. Don't do a joke about this. Don't say that. I pride myself on making my adjustments like a football player does.
Yeah.
Play by play. So I watch Anthony. I listen to him. I get in my headspace and I prepare my set. I don't care what he talks about. He could talk about his grandmother when he's on stage. It doesn't matter to me. As long as he's rocking. I want to hear that audience laughing, and I dare him to have his best set ever. I literally tell him that before the show.
Always.
I dare you.
He says,
he
says, break them off something proper.
I dare you to rock that joint.
As you should.
So this way, the energy is here, and all I got to do, honestly, is making my life a little easier. It's the cheat code. He goes high, then I just got to take him higher.
Right.
I don't got to walk them up every step. They're already there. They're salivating. They know what I bring, and I go, watch this. If you don't think you know what I'm bringing, watch this. Because I always change my set. I always add something to it. Sometimes I throw in an old school joint like my grandmother out the window. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I venture. I don't do the same set every night. That is the worst thing for me to do.
I was about to ask the same question right there.
Yeah. Change it. Just like you do music.
Right.
It's like I do have a set. I like some certain mixes that I do. Yeah. Foundationally. But man, sometimes you get a song that day stuck in your head, you know? I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for the day right? That's in your head all day. Nobody at the club don't know that. No way you DJing, they don't know that. But you play it. Turns this place inside out based on the way you were feeling that day. So the audience gets with me how I'm feeling that day. I love that, you know? And it's also show to show. So I got an idea of what I want to do. I could wipe the whiteboard clean right before I go on stage and just start writing as I go. You know, oh man, and I go, I don't know why. He goes, I never heard that joke before. And I go, that was an old school joint. I went in the back pocket. It was on a cue card and I did it, you know? Yeah. And even him sometimes is like, bro, you're on another level of daringness.
No,
because
he really is.
I dare right in front of the audience to just not improvise, but improvise the set list, if you will.
He's a savant. You know, we were just in Denver, and I watched her whole new set, and I'm like, how did you write it that fast?
When did you write this?
Yeah,
You know?
and he's like, this
Yeah.
stuff I'm working on. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, and killed. That's the crazy part. Like, I've worked new stuff, and I'll get chuckles. He did an entire new set, and the audience was in tears. I was like, how? And that's why he is Mark Viera. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I learned from the best.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes me feel good though,
Mhm.
because he's watching, he's learning. He's not
Mhm.
just watching, he's learning.
Yep.
And
Right.
me taking those risks gives him a little bit of ease when he goes to take his own risks. Like, he tells me all the time, oh, I did a new bit. And he goes, it didn't do so good. And I go, but I'm still proud of you. Still proud of you. Take the risk, bro.
Yeah.
Take the risk.
Absolutely.
Forget about the audience, man. This is
Mhm.
about you. This is about you. You know, especially when you go to a show like Zany's on a Wednesday night and people just hanging out, you know.
Right, right.
A lot of
Right.
times you could be murdering. They ain't ready for you. You know, they ain't ready for you. There was a comedian named Mitch Hedberg. He used to do jokes to crickets. Now,
Whoa.
say the name Mitch Hedberg and people go, oh, he was great. You go, then why you didn't laugh when you was there?
Right, right.
Why he was doing shows and everybody was just staring at him? Because he was way ahead of his time. He
Mhm.
had a intelligence. He had a, you know, what they call a more cerebral type comedy. It wasn't fancy, but it was funny. It was funny as all hell.
Facts.
You know, that happens. I go, bro, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the audience. It changes every night.
Yeah, right.
Changes every night. It's like you're doing great on the set and you start playing some slow music that you just wanted to hear. And everybody
Yeah.
like, I was
Don't
I
worry,
was thumping. Like, I was
Right.
thumping. I don't want to slow dance right now.
yeah,
you
don't worry
know?
about it.
Yeah,
worry
don't
about
change
it.
the vibe, but you vibing.
I'm
It's your
vibing.
vibing. You know, I always say that. You vibe. Your audience will go with you.
So are you guys doing crowd work tonight?
Now we're gonna bring comedy.
We bring
Okay.
comedy,
We gonna
man.
bring that.
We bring comedy.
We bring
Crowd work.
comedy.
Crowd work is good if the crowd is working with you.
Okay.
So a lot of times when you see comedians go, where you guys from? It's because they tell the audience in advance, we're gonna do some crowd work. We're gonna be recording, and the audience wants to play.
Okay.
I tell, this is my analogy with comedy. If you paid money to go see Hamilton, $180 per ticket for you and your lady, right? You and your significant other, $180 per ticket. And when you got there, they say, we're not doing Hamilton, all right? We're doing Washington tonight. Listen, it's not ready. It's not ready. Same actors from Hamilton, but we're gonna do Washington tonight. We'll improv a little. We're gonna have fun. You guys ready to have fun? Everybody would march out. I paid $180 to see Hamilton. I don't care if you've performed this 6 million times. I want to see 6,000,001. I paid for that. I tell people I prepare a show for you, a damn good show. I don't need you to help me. You know what I mean?
Go.
Hey,
It's
that's-
like,
that's
let me
valid.
tell you the DJ pet peeve. The DJ pet peeve. Yo, they trying to get your attention
Oh
for
my
37 minutes.
God, yo, I hate that so bad.
Right? Thank you.
I really do.
This is from a DJ.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yo, play.
And it's always offbeat. You'll be on hip hop.
What is it?
Play the Supremes.
Right? Yeah.
Play
yeah.
Biggie one more chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit me
Oh,
with the
no.
Biggie. Yo. And they doing all this. Yo. Biggie one more chance. And you like, I'm not, first of all. You know what I
Right?
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, ain't nothing here says request line.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
don't tap me on my shoulder in the middle of my set talking about let me hear. This is how we do it. I will slap you in your face. But this is where we are in the world because I get people at my show yelling out bits that they want to hear because of this stupid box. This phone that makes people think that they're in real life when they're just looking at their phone. That's not real life, bro. That's a screen. So you can't come to a comedy show and start telling me the set you want to see.
Right.
I prepped it. I'm good. I know.
Mhm.
No, but I want to do the grandmother in the window. That's my joint. But that ain't his joint.
Right.
It ain't
right.
your joint. Why I gotta do your, like, I'm not your private comedian, you
Right.
know?
Exactly.
It's like I said, as a DJ, I'm playing for the club.
Right.
Stop
The
throwing
masses.
water at me to get my attention to tell me you want to hear. You know what I mean?
Man.
Who let the dogs
was
out?
driving
Like,
Right.
first of all,
My
you could play
goodness,
that
yeah.
on, you know.
Especially when especially like, it's a gig downtown Chicago, right?
Yeah.
There's so many elements going on. There's so much
Mhm.
going on. And when you're on that big of a stage, there's no room for error. And one thing that does happen, it's happened to me, you got someone trying to talk to you while you're in the middle of a transition.
Yes.
You're in the middle of a loop, you know what I'm saying, trying to get the wordplay going on. You got somebody, so
Yeah. You waiting for a certain beat to hit to get another beat to.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're
as-
like, then they get all upset at you.
And I missed my transition.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I have to wait a whole nother verse to get out this song, because now I can't just cut the song the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
I got to do it, smoothly.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
my
And they
God.
start
With us,
crying.
timing is comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy is
For
timing.
sure.
Those two things
For
are
sure.
synonymous. They work together all show long.
Mhm.
So if you yell something out when I'm getting ready to drop my punchline,
That's
makes it worse.
I
That's
want to get
beautiful.
off stage,
I completely
choke you out,
understand.
get back on stage, and finish my show. Yeah, like
Yeah.
So anyway,
so I'll leave it there. But I'm just saying, like, I know, again, just watching, you see actors on set, they don't want to be spoken to. They ain't being nasty. They're in the element. They're getting ready to do a scene. This ain't the time. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can I get a picture? Just in my moment. It's like, no.
Right.
No.
Mhm.
Do you understand what's going on in my
Mhm.
mind right now?
Right,
There's a
right.
timing element. I got to remember my lines. I got to remember the line somebody else got to say to then hit them with
Right.
the return line. I don't need you all in my face talking about that. And I've seen it. People think just because they yell cut, that's the end of, no. It's just the end of that
Mhm.
moment. It's not the end of the
Right.
scene. We're doing a bunch of scenes here. Like, it's just weird what people will do, like you said, to grab that attention and
Mhm.
take you away from the energy that you need. That's
Mhm.
it's like,
It's your work.
I say it. Comedians that come prepared to do a set, they're comedians.
Yep.
Everybody else is doing comedy. That's how I leave it. Doing
There you
comedy.
have it.
And
Yeah.
you're working. It's your work.
Yeah.
You don't want to be bothered. Then they start,
Right.
like I said, they start crying. You're like, why are you crying over spoiled milk?
He's been dying to say that.
That's a good
Oh
one.
my
That's a
God.
good one.
37 seconds.
Anthony.
To say, I thought you was gonna get
You
away
are a
from it. I said, I'm not
cornball
gonna
on
miss
the
this.
highest level of
I was
cornball.
waiting for it, bro. That was my dad joke of the day. I said, don't you
That
take
was
my
good.
dad
Look
joke.
at cornball.
That
That's because they're crying over spilled milk.
And I
You are the worst person I ever seen. He waited this whole interview to say, you know what? I'm over it.
I'm gonna get him with this.
I'm gonna get him with this.
I'm
one.
gonna get him
You're
with it.
dead.
I was waiting for it. He took it away
Love
from me.
that.
I brought it back.
You brought
I
it
said, no,
back.
we gonna
Yeah.
get this dad
Yeah. You
joke
gonna
out. We gonna
Yeah.
get this one. I don't get many dad jokes, but that was one I was holding in my right pocket.
Had it there. I
So
understand.
when I spilled the Celsius earlier, I said, that's it, spoiled milk. Why are you crying over spoiled milk? That's it.
All right.
I wrote it down.
Very nice.
Yeah,
sure you
let
drop
them know
your
where they
social
can
media.
follow you guys and
Make sure you drop your social media out there, Mark. Anthony.
Absolutely. My social media is Mark Viera Comedy across all platforms. One name across all platforms. So if I know what happens is there's fake, how do you say that people make these fake accounts or these ghost accounts? I don't know what you call them because I'm not savvy like that, but there's a lot of those. I didn't realize that until I searched my name. But it's, if you reach Mark Viera Comedy, then you've reached me. Also, my website is just markviera.com. That makes life super easy. That's where you can find my upcoming schedule, my ticket sales, and all that. Markviera.com. Plus, the official Mark Viera merchandise can only be purchased and ordered at markviera.com. So I'll see you guys there.
Yeah. Anthony, drop the socials.
My social security number is 45. No, I'm just kidding.
Somebody with a notepad like, whoa.
Yeah.
People right now, grab that notepad. DJ
The last
Smith was
four?
writing it down. Like, I'm about to get some free credit right now.
What was the last four?
I knew he was gonna mess it up. You heard that DJ spilled milk.
Oh,
We knew he was gonna mess that up.
it's okay.
I was
Okay.
gonna mess that up.
Oh,
But
I knew
didn't. But I recovered. My social media is Anthony Fuentes Comedy on everything, TikTok, Instagram, and then Anthony Fuentes on Facebook. That's it. Easy.
Yes, sir, man. Make sure you guys are going out tonight.
Rosemont,
Zanies,
baby.
Rosemont, 9 p.m.
Zanies, let's go.
World famous Zanies Comedy Club. It's Mark Viera. Stop playing the Latin assassin.
You're kung fu.
You're kung fu.
is masturbate.
It's quite good.
It's quite good.
You're
Fabulous.
imagine somebody that that's dope. If so in real life,
You should do your set like that.
you're
today.
DJing. Huh.
It's
It's
top
quite
notch.
good.
It's great. Hey,
You are
Look at the material, folks. Okay. This is nothing. You got to come out to Zany's tonight in Rosemont.
that's right.
Let's go.
That's
I
right.
have truly enjoyed myself today. I'm
Oh
not
my
gonna
God.
lie.
Thank
too.
you guys.
Me
So
too.
have we, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
having
Thank you
us.
guys so
Thank
much.
you,
Of
Jazz.
course.
Thank you guys so much.
For coming out.
My brother, thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
Steve, thank you so much for having me, brother. Thank you.
Of course, man. It's been amazing.
You're welcome.
Jazz is it.
So fierce.
You're welcome.
Jazzer Sophius. You
Yes.
gotta put some spec on her name.
Of course. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok at Jazzer Sophiers. Did you say yours?
The nastiest DJ in Chicago, DJ Spoil Milk. That's where you'll find me.
Don't forget the sound effect.
Oh,
All that.
I was like, how do you make a sound effect for spoiled milk? I was gonna grab a guy and just pour.
We got to record this. We got
there's a
this,
couple of them. I got
This
a
was
couple
a good
of
one.
them.
We got to record this one. Look. Your DJing is quite good. Then you can add the
Oh, yeah.
behind it, that's
Oh,
fire.
yeah. That's
Fire.
lit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Love
of course,
it.
you can follow me, Steve Styles Radio. That's Styles with a Z.
With a Z.
Styles with a Z.
Period. And on that note,
Styles with a Z.
Z. For Zany.
on that note,
Yeah.
I think Midday Live Show is over and out for the day. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. As always, per usual, we are lit and always live from iHeartRadio Chicago every Friday. We'll be back same time, same place next week with Hell's Kitchen finalist Chef Egypt Davis. So make sure to tune in for that.
Bring some food with you.
Yeah.
Bring some
And,
snacks.
Can I come for that anyway?
Right.
of course. You guys can come back anytime. Literally.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Literally. And of course, follow us at the Midday Live Show on all social media channels. And we will see you later. We are over.